Hi, guys. Can you hear me? It's Sherry.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Hold on, let me go to your settings. Gotta start video. It's unmuted, Russ.
Hey, everyone, just waiting for a few more people to jump on real quick.
Hello? Am I in?
Yep, you're in.
Okay. I'm sorry, having a little technical delay over here due to operator. So we appreciate y'all attending the meeting tonight on October the 4th. We're having a public hearing at 5:30 to discuss the following items related to zoning and subdivision regulations that have been presented to us by the zoning board. The first one is amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding special standards for some zoning districts regarding building regulations, and that would be amendment 21-04. And this has to do with building appearance. Of new construction. The next thing that we would be doing is an amendment to the subdivision ordinance regarding minimum lot size standards, dimensions, and setbacks. And that's 21-01. And that's for in order to get our regulations consistent with our zoning ordinances and our subdivision ordinance. And I think if you have in your documents 21-sub ordinance amendment -01, if you go down to the very bottom where it's discussing the sizes of these lots, you will find the last classification. It says medium density residential R3. It should be high density residential 3. And then the last thing that we have is a rezoning request by Vanessa Valma to rezone a 0.025 acre lot, part of a tract identified as 34 Westby Street, parcel 000816, from medium density residential to downtown commercial. And all of these amendments for the rezoning and building standards have met the consistency statement that we have pertaining to these items. I believe Frank is with us. Frank, if you'd like to speak in regard to this.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, Mayor and Board. Planning Board has been busy, and we have, as you mentioned earlier, we do have two amendments and one rezoning to consider tonight. The first one, the building standards, the Planning Board met in August, and we discussed various standards we thought were needed to, protect the character of Bunn, and for new development that may come in, to make sure that we have felt like some regulation was needed on that to protect the character, and that is a statement that is in your land use plan. So, and therefore it is consistent with to be attractive and a progressive community while maintaining its rural character. And it meets the community's needs. And so we looked at, the board asked me to come back with a recommendation. We met, we looked at standards that Youngsville has, Henderson, Oxford, as well as some with Franklin County. And based on what the planning board reviewed, we felt like they felt like Henderson was the easiest to maintain and administer, and it was a good ordinance. So that is kind of the basis of which I drafted, but I did take parts from some other municipalities as well, cities and towns. So the building standards basically deals with facades, what a developer can use relative to facades. Talks about using brick, wood, split face masonry blocks, and any other material would have to be approved, but it does exclude metal on that. Metal can be used as in some of the interior components that just can't be visible from that part. The sides would be, you can utilize 50% metal, but the other 50% would have to utilize the components, materials that I used just a while ago. Added in that would be, loading docks and things like that. your trash receptacles and things like that would have to be, enclosed particularly when it relates to the neighboring properties and those types of things. So one component that I did want to mention is the C1 in the C1 district itself, which is predominantly downtown, that does exclude metal. You would have to use, the components that I listed earlier on that part. I noted on those. So board reviewed this very carefully, and we had some good discussion, make sure that what each component had, and the planning board does recommend approval of the amendment for those special standards for zoning districts. One thing to point out, it does not include residential districts on this, so it's non-residential districts on that part. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay. The next item is the amendment 01 for the subdivision. As I was going through and getting more calls, based on development that is taking place, and more developers are looking at possible subdivisions. I came across and was looking at the medium density requirements that's in the subdivision regulations versus what's in the zoning ordinance. So, and notice that there is a difference in the medium density for each. And I understand after talking with the board members and planning board members, as well as some of the town board, that that is a concern. The only thing that probably we need to, and a lot of the larger tracts, that is in an R1 district, which requires 30,000 square feet, and they were the same. They were the same in the zoning ordinance as well as the subdivision ordinance. But when you get to an R2, it did change. The subdivision was different than what was in the zoning ordinance, and so as well as the R3. Not a lot of R2 zoning area. It mainly is from the town limits. If you're coming into into Bunn from Lewisburg, it starts there at the R2 and is basically on the outside of the C1 district. And then you only have one track that's R3, and that's off the Cheese Road. So it wasn't a big deal that, if it's in the R1, but if you did have something come into R2, I think we would be forced to use the zoning ordinance, and I think is consistent. It should be consistent on that. The only other option would be if you have a different zoning class for the subdivision regs other than the R2 or R3, you could maybe restructure and call it something different, but it would take a little more time to do that. So I suggested that to the board that we utilize what's in the zoning ordinance, realizing that there wasn't as much, larger tracts that could utilize the for the relative to subdivision. So that's and I appreciate like I said, there was an error I had on the last section of the 2101. It should have been high density, as the mayor mentioned earlier on that point. Okay. Unless there's some questions, I'll move along to the rezoning. Received a request from Vanessa Vollmer to rezone a very small tract behind the existing restaurant. They are looking at pursuing that piece of property, and in order to do what they would like to do with the restaurant, it would have to need to be rezoned to C1, which the restaurant currently is C1, and a couple of other tracts that along Main and the Cheese Road is already C1. planning board met on this request at their last meeting, and I would like to note that Chairman Balmer did excuse himself from this meeting, and Chris Brantley took over as the chair, as he did have a financial interest in this, and so we went along met the requirements of the law regarding for that part of it, and considering this, and the board felt like the rezoning is reasonable, and of course there was it was a preliminary plat submitted on this as well. It wanted to note that in the ad at the time they were still working to revise this plat, so we had 0.025 acres, but in actuality it's less than that. It is 0.018 acres, and like I mentioned, they are interested in purchasing this strip of land for the purpose of the restaurant, and it would need to be a C1 to do this. The remaining tract that is coming from currently owned by the east property there is a sufficient square density left, 10,003 square feet, so it would not create a non-conforming situation on this lot if with the other 0.01 acres going to the restaurant, if this is approved, and then the plat would be approved. The remaining board members did recommend approval of this rezoning, and based on the information with the consistency, one of the things that changed with state law was requiring that the consistency statement be done, in particular with rezonings, that the rezoning request is reasonable, and with the small amount of the acreage and the other adjacent C1 property, the board felt like this was a reasonable rezoning. Therefore, when it's deemed reasonable, it's not a spot zoning, and it did not deter or provide detriment to the remaining property owners, and it is in the public interest. So all of these amendments were properly noticed in the local newspaper, as well as being posted at the property and at the town hall and other facilities. So we did have two people that came to the planning board meeting, and they chose not to. They didn't say anything negative or positive about it, but the rezoning. But I have not heard from anyone else from the public regarding this rezoning. So the remaining board members recommended to approve this rezoning, and the letter was provided that was signed by Acting Chair Brantley, Chris Brantley. And Mayor, and board, that's a recap on that. But if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Does anybody have any questions for Frank?
Frank, just one quick question. I might be just overlooking it. I know there is a public hearing here, but as far as fencing, like privacy fences for both subdivision and the commercial, that still stands, correct?
Yes, ma'am. The fencing would be would have to be done. If you any fence that is erected, you should be getting a permit on that part of it.
Right.
It didn't affect that part, but it would require, particularly like in the building standards, where if you put a trash container and things like that, you would need to be privacy fencing on that part of it.
So, okay.
Okay, do we have further questions? Any discussion? Okay, here none, we will reconvene our regular monthly meeting at 6 o'clock. Thank you. Public hearing.
Recording stop. Recording stop. Recording stop.
Okay. We'll start our October 4th, 6 o'clock regular meeting. We appreciate y'all being with us tonight on Zoom again. Hopefully we can go back to meeting in person before too long. At 5:30, we had a public hearing on 3 items. The first was an amendment to the zoning ordinance regarding special standards for some zoning districts regarding building regulations, and that amendment was reviewed and it is consistent with our statement for that zoning for that area. Do I have a motion to approve that amendment 24-04?
I make a motion to approve 24-04. zoning
I have a second.
ordinance.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next amendment was for the subdivision ordinance regarding minimum lot size standards, the 21-01, and this has been reviewed and is consistent with our zoning statements. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
The third item was a rezoning request by Vanessa Balmer to rezone point, and it turned out it was 0.018 acre, part of a tract identified as 34 Wesby Street, parcel number 0000816, from medium density residential to downtown commercial C1, and that is within the zoning consistency statement. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
And we appreciate the work that the zoning board is doing, and we've got them with many different projects, and that they've all handled well, and have other ones that they're working on. So we appreciate it, Frank, and all the zoning board members. Thank you. And
Thank
the next thing we have is approval for the September monthly meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next two items under old business is new town hall and in focus and Municode ordinance proposals. I would like to request that they be tabled. We're still trying to get some additional information on the in focus and Municode ordinance proposals. So if we can hold off till the next meeting, hopefully we'll have all the information we need. So that would bring us down to the resolution authorizing COVID-19 sick leave time to full-time employees. And we had some question about that at our last meeting. After reading the submitted resolution, do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Do I have further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Our next item on the agenda is an update from a meeting that Pam and myself had with Bruce Nagelin from Community Economic Development Planner with the NC Department of Commerce. Pam, would you like to speak concerning that?
I can. I guess y'all remember when Bruce came, a couple months ago, and was talking about economic development assessment program for the town of Bunn. And if you remembered, he talked about getting a group of people from Bunn, or in the community that would, we need 10 people, and these people would kind of let him know what's going on, what's good with the town, what's bad with the town. But he sent a sample, and I put it in your packets, kind of who you want to ask for and how to ask them. It's a welcome letter that was in there also. But they don't have to live in Bunn. They don't have to be citizens of Bunn, but they have to have a big part of Bunn. And this is just an example, like Willie's, Joanne and them don't live in Bunn, but they have a lot to say with the Bunn community. So I guess you guys need to come up with 10 people's names. And on October 21st, Rustic Roots will hold a meeting for them. We'll provide breakfast and lunch for them. It'll be at 8:30 to 3:30. It's a one-day kind of class for this one group, but they'll play a big part in the development for the town of Bunn. So I don't know if you want to email me names or if you want to talk, Marsha.
Well, excuse me, what I was going to say, if each one of you could think of some names, maybe give Pam 2 or 3 names, and we'll go through them and contact some of them and try to get a group, 10, 12 people for this panel. But if y'all just come up with submit some names to her. Maybe each one of us do a couple of names or something like that. Okay. Any questions concerning this? Okay, yeah, and if y'all can, if you will, let's see, if you can submit those names to her by maybe October the 11th and 11th, so we can get in contact with them and get the meeting set up. We appreciate y'all's help with that.
What date again, Pam, is the meeting?
It's October 21st.
Okay.
That is a Thursday. And we thank Russ and Vanessa for allowing us to host it at their establishment.
And so they want, a couple of elected officials, but he's saying no more than two. A town staff, so Pam would go, and then maybe the county economic developer, key property owners, or citizens who are active in the community, and key constituents and business interest in the community. So just keep those in mind, that it does not have to be people who actually have to live in the town of Bunn, but in the surrounding area, and that they do have a stake in the town of Bunn. Okay. All right. The next thing, let's say we'll go to new business, and Russ Balmer. Is Russ with us tonight?
Yeah, hey, Mayor.
Hey, Russ.
Hey. Are you wanting me to give the zoning and planning report?
Well, we had you under new business.
Okay, in regards to the recent law that was passed, is that?
Yes, yes.
All right. So thank you, Mayor and board, for this time. Just to quickly introduce to you all a little bit of information about what has in fact transpired recently. A little bit over a month ago, the governor signed an omnibus bill that included language in that now allows, if the commissioners, the Board of Commissioners chooses to bring forward to a citizen-wide vote, that being residents of the town of Bunn, to adopt liquor by the drink for the town of Bunn. Why this is significant is prior to this new language being approved by the governor, the threshold that was in place was 300 registered voters for the town of Bunn to put forward to a citizen-wide vote to approve liquor by the drink. And the town of Bunn currently does not have 300 registered voters to be able to do that. So that becomes a significant option for the town of Bunn to consider. And so I am bringing that forward to all of you to know that this is available for this town. The soonest that we could possibly, if the town did decide to move forward with this, the soonest opportunity for an election is going to be either March or April of next year. Okay. The reason why that date has not been set by the Board of Election is because the legislature is working through several redistricting that is required by law. And so they have not actually announced when the next municipal election is going to take place next year. Of course, we do have an election coming up November 2nd. However, because of the timing that the governor signed the law, there was not enough time for the town to act, nor for the Board of Election to get a referendum on the ballot. So there was not enough time to do that. So what this does do, if you guys were to choose to do this, is it does give the town time to think, to discuss, and to just work this over with a lot of communication as far as whether we want to move forward or not on this action. One thing finally, Mayor, that I would like to say that I did confirm today is because this is a referendum, it does not require a public hearing. Basically, what it would require is a letter to be submitted to the Board of Election that the town of Bunn has decided or will be voting on. This is assuming that you guys would approve this. And then that gives notification to the Board of Election in Lewisburg that there is a referendum that will be coming. Okay, that basically starts the process to get it on the ballot, most likely in March or April of next year. Okay, so that really is all of the update that I have to just give you an idea as far as where we are now with our current liquor laws in North Carolina.
Does anybody have any questions for us on this? Okay, all right. Well, thank you for
Mayor.
the update. And then while we've got you, would you like to give a report on the planning and zoning?
You bet. So Frank actually gave my report. You basically heard and then adopted and approved 3 areas that we worked on. This meeting took place on September 20th, where we did discuss the special standards for building requirements, as well as getting that figured out with the minimum lot size. And then, of course, we heard the rezoning request by Vanessa for the Rustic Roots property. So I do appreciate Chris Brantley stepping in for me as that was being discussed. We worked that out well in advance, also with Frank's leadership with Cartar, because of the obvious conflict of interest that I had with that particular request. But we did move through those things. Mayor and commissioners, we will be continuing to meet on a regular basis, because it just seems like that we get good traction going when we meet on a regular basis. Frank, I'm going to ask you, because I looked in my calendar and I did not see any meeting date that we had set at the end of our meeting. Can you help me with that?
Yeah, we kind of looking at the agenda now to see what we have coming up, Russ, and I'll be getting some dates to y'all here within the next day.
That's the reason why I don't have it in my calendars. We didn't set it.
That's right. Yeah, we usually talk about the next meeting, but we didn't have anything pressing, so to speak. But there are some other things that I'll be getting back with you on, and then we'll set that date up. Sure will.
Yeah, commissioners, we have, and Mayor, we have a great board. I think we're very aware of the growth pressures that are coming to our area, and so excited to be working in that area for our town. So thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you. Rich Hen. Is Rich with us tonight?
He is, but it says it's connecting to audio. Mike can skip over here and come back.
Okay. How about Tony Lowry?
Good evening. Garrison and Bunn Utilities installed the inserter valves, one on Warren Avenue, one on Johnson Street. This is going to help the town out with us controlling, being able to shut the water main down if we ever had a bad leak. We had a hydrant valve leaking on Warren Avenue. It was like 2 days after that. Luckily, we were able to use that inserter valve to shut the water line down on Warren Avenue to get it fixed. So it has come in handy. And on the same day, Bunn Elementary School lift station, as a matter of fact, it was last Friday, pump one burn up. I had Bree Love Electric come in and locate the problem and the issues and everything we were having with that pump is burn up now. And Bree Love pulled the pump and sent it to electric motor shop for it to be repaired. And I had New Day Septic come in and pump 2 truckloads of sewer, keep us from having to overflow at that station. We started jetting and cleaning 5,600 square feet of sewer per the state of the 8,000 square foot a year that they mandatory us for us clean. So we're going to get back on that this month and try to finish up the 2,400 feet remaining. And we're going to start working on the problem ditches in town and cleaning the storm drains pipes. All state reports are complete and turned in, and all the sewer grant equipment has been ordered. And that's all I have.
Anybody have any questions of Tony?
One
I have a
question, but I'm back on here.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't catch who it was.
I got kicked off of this Zoom and now I'm back. It's Rich.
Okay, all right, let's finish up with Tony and then we'll recognize you, Rick.
Marcia, I have a quick question or some concerns I just want to go over with Tony. One is, Tony, I just want to follow up. I know that you've been working with some grease concerns in town. Have you been able to reach Danny on these for like an inspection there at the, I think it was the BP and Food Lion?
I have not yet. I'm waiting for him to come in I believe he comes in Thursday, and I was going to take him there and show it to him.
Okay. Can we send him an email, kind of give him a heads up before he gets here so he can maybe allow more time for that if needed?
I sure can. I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said that the camera from the grant stuff has been ordered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I haven't forgot you about the canopies at the park. Just been kind of busy. I know you had some suggestions and I'm still waiting on a date for that final, okay?
Okay, no
That final
problem.
inspection. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay,
I got a question for Tony.
okay.
Tony, that our generator, is it not working?
No, sir. We took it up to Bunn Exxon to get them to look at it. And they put a new battery in. As a matter of fact, I just got the invoice for that today. It was like $200 that they had done work on it. And it is not repairable as far as them working on it. We'd had to send it to Rocky Mount to get fixed. It's something to do with the carburetor or fuel system on it, and they are not able to work on it.
Okay, so, but we need it. What are we gonna do if we have an outage?
Right. I would like to ask the board if we can get it fixed, take it down there and go ahead and get it fixed. I'm not sure what the cost is going to take, but we have had problems with that generator since I started there. It really, if we're gonna keep it as far as the town, running town hall and everything, I think we might need to get it fixed, in my opinion.
Tony, what size generator are we talking about?
I couldn't tell you the exact size of it, Sherry. I believe it's the big backup generator for town hall is what it is. The one we always
Okay.
on there.
But we've got one brand new one on order, right?
That's right. But I don't know. I couldn't tell the board when that new generator's coming in because of the way COVID is. Everything's backed up.
Tony, assuming we get the new generator in a reasonable amount of time, would you still have a use for the other one as a backup somewhere else in town?
It would not hurt.
So it'd be worth it to have it fixed either way.
Yes, ma'am.
Is the new one coming in larger than what this one that we're talking about is, Tony?
Yes, ma'am. And I'll be honest with you, that generator, the old generator, it has a hookup for the power out there at Town Hall. And the new generator we're going to have to get the electrician to hook us up something that where it can go from pumps and everything to that generator. So all we have to do is plug it in, like put a new plug in there for the new generator. But the old one does have the plug for the panel box outside of Town Hall already hardwired to it.
Now, we're talking about a standalone generator, like you put in a business, so if it automatically comes on, like something that offer mechanical, or are you talking about a gas operated one, Tony?
It's a diesel, but it's pull behind.
Okay, so something like the state uses.
Yes, ma'am.
Tony, you have a place in Rocky Mount, you said it can work on it.
I do.
Would they be willing to give us a quote on what it would take to get it running?
Yep. I can give them a call first thing in the morning.
I think we should, maybe pursue it, because with the winter weather coming, it would be nice to have it. But if they could give us an estimate of what they think. You have no idea what's wrong with it or run.
All I know is that it will crank up and it cuts right off. And they tried to diagnose the problem and they said it's something to do with the fuel system on it.
Okay, all right. Do we have other comments? If not, Tony, can you get us an estimate on how much it'll cost to repair?
Yes, ma'am. I'll get it tomorrow. First thing.
Okay. Any other questions for Tony?
Tony, when you get that, could you also ask them for a time estimate on how long it will take them to repair it?
I sure will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And so we will go back and recognize Rich at this time in the ABC report.
Good evening. The only thing I really have mentioned tonight is the inventory problem that we had for a few months over the summer has gotten much better. The stores are stocked at least a much higher percentage in the summer. The 1 month that was really affected most was August, where sales were down about $22,000. So we don't anticipate that to be as big of a problem going forward. That's all I had. If there are questions.
Questions?
Rich, I have a comment. I was walking, and I know you guys don't have food in your dumpster, but it wasn't the side door open, it was the top door open to the dumpster. I don't know, it was actually all the way back past the facial board and that was actually holding it open. It really took, had to climb up on it to pull it down to get it to close. So I'm just, if you would you please let Leanne stress that to her employees to keep that closed.
Okay.
That's all I have, Marcia.
All right. Okay. We'll recognize Chief Massey.
Yes, ma'am. If you look under investigations or incidents we had actually a total of 5 incidents, 5 offensive, 1 simple assault, 1 burglary, breaking and entering charge. We had 2 more larcenies. We had 1 drug violation, 1 drug paraphernalia violation, and 1 trespass of real property. Also, we had 3 arrests with 5 charges. Again, the rest was for simple assault, larceny, and drug equipment, or drug paraphernalia and drug violation. We also did a checkpoint, and we had 3 no operator license, 1 driving while license revoked, and then later on we had a speeding infraction as well. No warning tickets, no ordinance, and if we noticed with the gas prices continue to go up, there was a little bit of an uptick on our gas for the month of September, $1,047. And I'm still running around blowing the air horn for the buzzards, trying to keep them away. I spoke to the lady at the Chinese restaurant again and told her that, that they're going to have to continue to keep, they say the buzzards go in there and physically open it up. One of them will reach down there and pull it with their beak, and then the other buzzards will hold it open while they go in there and pull out trash. So, but I just told her to try to keep a little better eye on it, and Food Line as well.
Steve, I think that can go with every business around here, because I've been walking, and BP and all the gas stations and everything. There's like buzzards just hovering over them, and they're open during the day. And I've been going in and just telling them. I mean, I think it's time for you can slap them on the hand, but so many times.
Yeah.
And I'm personally ready to fine, because the air horn ain't going to do anything if they don't keep it closed or at least try. We've been that route and they've already come back. So.
Yeah, I spoke to the manager at Food Line. Supposedly they used to have 2 dumpsters, and now they've scaled them back to 1 dumpster. And so the other day,
and I'm strongly disagreeing to what they're coming back with you with putting trash in grocery carts and setting it outside. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, I told them that. I said, this is your warning. And I said, so from this point forward, I said, somebody will probably end up getting some type of a fine, because there was 100 out there all on the ground eating. And I said, I don't know what to tell you. I said, maybe you need to contact Food Line and tell them to give you, which when I drove around the corner though, there was 1 large dumpster, but there was 2 smaller dumpsters that was sitting there too. So, but they cleaned it up real fast. Of course, as soon as you clean it up and put it in the dumpster and lock that top, they leave, they go somewhere else. So I'm like you, I think it's time to do some type of fines. But that's it for my report.
Any other questions? Pam? You have anything?
No.
Do we have any public comments? I'm sorry, Ben, do you have any comments? All right, Nicole. Do you have any comments?
No, nothing. Thank you.
Sherry?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
Mac?
No, thank you.
Don?
No.
All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I have a second.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you all, and have a safe October, and we'll meet again on November. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.